Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. As of this recording, over 2,070 Sunscribers. Thank you for Sunscribing. Thank you for watching Suns Latest on FanArch. Thank you for your constructive criticism. All right, training camp opens in September. Preseason schedule is Monday, October 5th at Detroit Pistons. Wednesday, October 7th, United Center in Chicago up against the Bulls. Saturday, October 10th versus Spurs in Phoenix, Mortgage Matchup Center. Wednesday, October 14th, we go to San Antonio to play the Spurs again. Friday, October 16th versus Utah back in Phoenix. The full regular NBA season schedule will be released tomorrow, so we'll know if the Suns play on opening night or if they play like 1 or 2 days later. It's always usually a little bit scattered, and the big marquee teams usually open the season. Like Tuesday, October 20th is the official opening of the NBA season. The Knicks will raise their championship banner, and they will play the Sixers. So, the big rumor right now is a former Sixer, and it has to do with Ben Simmons, and an article by Matthew Washington from The Score. It's not just the Suns, who've expressed at minimum casual interest in the past in former two-time All-Defensive Team, first team, one-time All-NBA third team, three-time All-Star Ben Simmons. Several NBA teams are still interested in the free agent forward who took last season off, and this is according to Anscape's Mark J. Spears. There's an unnamed team in the West that invited Simmons to training camp. Simmons is opening to sign a vet minimum contract if he can return to the league. He said this more than once. The 2016 number one overall pick and rookie of the year has been attempting to come back, but he hasn't played in an NBA game since splitting the 2024-2025 season with the Nets and the Clippers. 5 points, 5.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds per game. Leg and back injuries, plus where he's at mentally, and we've covered this a lot, going back to 2020, are the major concerns with him. So those are huge. Those are all big things, and he's 30. So that's the first question to ask about a guy like Ben Simmons. But if he is healthy and motivated and wants to play in the NBA again, his defense alone could help a team. That is an assertion from more than a few NBA coaches. That guy can guard every position. He can play almost any position. He is 6'10". His ball handling is really good. His passing is otherworldly. His defense is as good as it gets. So healthy and motivated Ben Simmons, just on that end of the floor, just his defense alone is something any team would be happy to do. And on a vet minimum, you'd have to consider it. You'd have to consider it if he's healthy. But starting this week, he's part of a player-led minicamp for the Australia men's national team. Excuse me. Wants to rep his home country at 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles in the summer. Quote, I plan on getting as strong as I can physically, getting my ass on the court, and then the team realizing that my abilities will be needed, end quote. He told that to Clay Skipper of Men's Health in June. I have never heard a quote like that from Ben Simmons. I've never heard him talking about wanting to get on the court before. Maybe I missed it. It's the first time I've heard him sound motivated. So, what do you think? Is it possible that the Suns are the West team that quietly invited Ben Simmons to training camp? Curious what you think. I'm curious what you think about Ben Simmons, because we've gone over this a few times. Let's get to your comments. And Jeffrey Catalino, I think it's like your second or third comment. If I'm wrong about that and this is your first, welcome to Suns Latest. Jeffrey says Jalen Green needs to be on board with being the sixth man in order for Booker to flourish with Gillespie starting at point guard. I'm all for it. I'm all for Green or Gillespie starting, or Green and Book starting, but Colin Gillespie subbed in really soon. Like, okay, you can't sit these giant contract guys or two highest paid players, but you don't have to keep them in the game just because they start. You don't have to keep them in the game for 30 minutes straight. You can sub them out right away, especially if matchups aren't working for two shooting guards. Either way, Green and Book on the floor at the same time isn't optimal, but either with Colin Gillespie might be. Doug Drew, Barkley said Dan Marley was his favorite teammate. Yeah, Barkley loved Dan Marley. We were talking about Dan Marley on the last Suns Latest. Between the body check to Nash and the towel thrown into Coach Ainge's face, Robert Horry is not welcome in Phoenix, still hoping for Jalen Green trade for Josh Giddey. That's a lot, Doug Drew. KJ is my boy. Respect to you for owning up to the usage of a distasteful word. Yeah, I said something not too flattering about Pat Bev, and as much as we all hate Pat Bev, I don't have to get lower than that. Hate is pretty intense, right? Okay. Brandon Clark news is super tragic. Enjoyed his hops while he was on the Grizzlies. Colin is the point guard now. Gut feeling he's going to get 30-plus minutes tonight, while Jalen and Booker split the point guard minutes while he's off the court. I don't see Jalen doing any point guarding. Obviously, point Book. All right. I mean, Jordan Goodwin understands the concept of playing point guard, even though he's a combo guard and he's not the greatest facilitator. I just want Jalen and Booker to come off screens or drive to the hole. I don't want them facilitating unless they have to, unless it's just an easy one. we're going to have this argument until it gets solved. So we're always going to talk about this stuff. B-Dub, I really dislike Danny Ainge just before he came to Phoenix when he played for those Portland teams I couldn't stand. I might put those Blazer teams on that all-time hate list as well, especially that MFer Duckworth. No respect to Kevin Duckworth, the late, great Kevin Duckworth. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just a good player. He was an all-star, too. I love Danny Ainge and the Suns, but for sure is an all-time all-hate team member. So we're going to continue the all-time all-hate team. We stopped it the other day in respect to Don Nelson, the late, great Don Nelson, who had passed away. So I put it on hold, but we're getting right back to it. And I think we're just going to clearly, obviously, get the former Suns out of the way on the all-time all-hate team so we can really dive into it. We did Robert Horry the other day. And today, I told you we were going to get to it because it's very hard, even though he was really good for us, and I loved him as our coach. Danny Ainge definitely is on the all-time all-hate team, all-time NBA hate team. Admit it, before he became a Sun and then coached the Suns, you hated Danny Ainge as much as any player ever, and with good reason. First of all, he was a Celtic, so what's not to hate about the Celtics? And I hated him. He was intense, but he was a pest. And he did do dirty stuff, and he never thought he was trying to injure anyone, but when someone did the same to him in retaliation, it was the look on his face, the disbelief, the incredulity that somebody could actually think that he did something wrong is what really got people angry at Danny Ainge. Because he did punk stuff, and that's really what made you hate him. So he was really good at getting under guys' skin. He was an absolute instigator. One of the guys who he could actually effectively piss off was MJ. He really got under IT's skin as well. Pat Riley hated him, saying, quote, he was the biggest whiner going when he was playing, and I know that because I coached against him, end quote. Danny Ainge was arguably the best high school athlete in the country and is still the only U.S. athlete to be named a high school All-American in football, basketball, and baseball. A friend of mine, John Harris, worked for the Suns for a little bit, and for whatever reason, he found himself working out with Danny Ainge. My friend John's like 6'2", good high school player. That was it. He was like a power forward in high school. But Danny Ainge is 6'5", this incredible athlete, and he said, just like a game to 11 where he didn't score against Danny Ainge just for fun. He said Ainge bodied him so bad he was hurting for like 3 days after, and all our friends are going, Danny Ainge? And my friend John said, you guys, this is an NBA player. This is a 6'5" dude who was the best athlete in the country. You forget it's a completely different level. Even though no muscle tone, didn't really look like he was tough, he was, ask anybody. Danny Ainge was as strong as it gets and an incredible athlete. He played 3 years of pro baseball with the Blue Jays while still playing college basketball at BYU. He wasn't a great, he was a decent infielder. He wasn't a great hitter, 220 career average. Wooden Award for best college basketball player, though. 14 years in the NBA, 2 titles with Boston, 1-time All-Star with Boston. Great shooter, good defender, tireless, motivated, hustled. So all the things we hate about Danny Ainge when he's on your team. Still remember for coming across as privileged and spoiled, wearing his emotions on his sleeve, but he didn't compete with a silver spoon in his mouth. His game was all gym rat. He hustled, he was aggressive, and he did not back down. He tried to get Melo Pistons guard Joe Dumars to take a swing at him in the playoffs, trash-talking him for an entire game. A cheap shot to the back of Isaiah Thomas in the 87 playoffs. Thomas probably deserved it, though. He's another gem. Isaiah will be on the all-time all-hate team. Tackling 7-foot Hawk center Tree Rollins after he got elbowed. To this day, basketball fans will say Ainge bit Rollins. It was actually Ainge who got bit. And as a Sun, pegging rocket forward Mario Elie in the face with the ball and saying he didn't mean to. That was a really weird moment for Suns fans because, yeah, we were losing the game, and Ainge did that. And remember, Ainge played pro baseball. He could put a ball wherever he wanted to. And it was like, what the hell did Mario Elie do to you? So, yeah, he could even try loyal fans. But that was Danny Ainge. And then, after he did it, he said he didn't mean to do it. And you're doing something wrong when the late, great Don Nelson calls you a dirty player. That label stuck because of who said it, unfair or not. That's who Danny Ainge became. He was a pest, he instigated, and he acted innocent a lot. Fair or not, that is his legacy. He was ruthless and still is as a general manager, but great player, great GM, always effective. Danny Ainge was also really good on the 93 Suns that went to the finals. Knockdown three-point shooter at the end of his career. So for all the hate, and by the time he got to Phoenix, or at least for a brief period of time, because he was our pain in the ass, all is forgiven. But no question, Danny Ainge is all-time all-hate. And here is the quote, and we'll wrap this baby up. Quote, he was that little brother who bugged you to death, but who you liked too much to stay mad at, end quote. Larry Bird talking about Danny Ainge. We will continue the all-time all-hate team tomorrow. I want to know what you think about the possibility of Ben Simmons, a motivated Ben Simmons, back in the NBA and at minimum joining the Suns. Really curious. And thank you for watching Suns Latest now on Facebook. There are short clips on TikTok and Spotify. Leave a review if you can and become a Sunscriber. Appreciate you watching. Go Suns!